All right, guys. So I just wrapped with Ariel Helwani, live doing Ariel's program. Great honor. Great. It's a great honor. Ariel, I think, tried to embarrass me at one point. He said, you say my name a lot. You drop me a lot. Yes, I do. I think that he's a leading authority, but I also think he's interesting, right? Ariel not only brings you the news, he brings you an opinion. Double threat. I only bring you an opinion. Other guys only bring you the news. Ariel, great entertainer. When I came on, the previous guest was Platinum Mike Perry, and Ariel was rapping with him, meaning finishing up, then he's going to do what's called a toss over to me. Okay, TV talk here for you, but I only got a minute. I only got a minute of what Perry was saying. So Ariel ties it in for me, and the reason I had missed the Perry interview is I was watching the press conference. Will Fleury, Jake Paul, okay? This is the second press conference. The first one, Fury did show up to, but not alone. And he didn't show up in person. He brought his dad and his brother with him. I thought that was a surprise. From an entertainment standpoint, I thought it was a real treat. Old man Fury is the leader of, as entertaining as Tyson is. The old man's on top. I thought it was a treat, but it did mean something to me. Wait a minute, he didn't come in person. And then two, he wasn't confident enough on the stick that he could stand his own ground. He had to bring not one, but two family. It just kind of stood out. That's all. Small observation, but I remember making it. And a month later, when he doesn't get on the airplane to come to New York, they have to refund $1 million gate. It's a big deal. And Fury never should have been put in that position to do this to Paul again. Now, I must admit for you, I don't know all of the intricacies of this fight. And the fact that they're going to the Middle East tells me for sure Paul is not having to bankroll this whole thing. Because I do believe if MVP was having to bankroll the whole thing, they would, of course, learn from the mistake that had just happened and not do it again. But when you have the addition of possibly the only partner, but at least one of the partners, right? At a maximum, Paul got a little piece of this. But I bring that to you because they do the press conference today, and Will Fleury doesn't show up again. And don't forget, guys, this fight is 3 weeks away. One of the cool things about the announcement of this fight is we didn't have to wait. Jake announced it 5 weeks before they were going to be in there. I wish all fight promotions went that way. I wish they shortened it to 3. But it was great, and it was a treat. But now that we're at this press conference, it's not as though there's time. The kid's either training and has his eye and focus on making the agreed upon weight, or he doesn't. Simple as that. $2 million are at stake, okay? I know the kid comes from money, but he doesn't have it. This is life-changing money. $2 million. You split that with Uncle Sugar, you still walk with 7. You walk with 7 figures. You get a rudimentary understanding of Coinbase and Robinhood, and it'll be enough time to last for your life. It'll be enough money to last for your lifetime. You'll have people that tell you $1 million's not enough. They're wrong. Maybe they don't know what to do with that $1 million, but they're wrong. $1 million is enough. You got to have it, though. Not $1 million, you end up with half. He walks $1 million. I share that because he's not sold that he's going to show up. And when you're in this business, okay, other promoters haven't had the same experience as Dana White. They just haven't had it. But they also don't understand. Dana White is a boss. If you ever question that, you will find out the hard way. If you don't ever question that, everything will move along. But that's what the boss has to do. And there's a reason people don't F with him, because he's the boss. Period. It's why Vince McMahon and WWE beat Eric Bischoff in WCW. That one reason. Eric was one of the guys. Vince was a boss. And I bring that to you because the experience that Jake Paul has had at this short part of his short career as a promoter has been terrible. Like, you could go out and get consultants. You could work with some really good guys. You could get Don King on the phone, right? Don couldn't tell him how to handle these situations because Don never found himself in them. In decades, he never found himself. Jake Paul has found himself as a promoter in some extremely unique positions that would have made anybody else close up the checkbook and just walk away. but he's pushing through. Jake, if he can learn one thing from Dana, it's to make sure that everybody knows who's in charge. And we can do this the nice way or the other way. But you will find out, and everybody else will see it. Jake is apparently a guy you don't have to show up to a press conference for. He's apparently a guy that you can do a contract with and not follow through. Rahman walked all over him as well. Terrible stuff. These guys, it's terrible what they did to them. But what I'm sharing for you is at some point, if you don't make it clear who the boss is, you're going to have long-term problems. And when they're at the press conference, try to picture that, and Fury doesn't show up, okay? Wherever they were, he either got on the plane or he didn't. Whatever town they were in, I don't know if this was in the East or they did, I don't actually know. Wherever they were, he either checked into the hotel the night before or he didn't. So you're going to have info. You're going to have a pretty good idea that he's coming or he's not. So when you get there, right then is where they should have cut him. Right there, when the world's watching, not now, don't come out and do it now, the press conference is over. Right now, where everybody's watching, that's where you announce, don't come. We're changing your ticket to canceled. The person, forget it. Forget it. And they should have brought Mike Perry in. Who's ready? Who wants to do it, by the way, and who will show up. Isn't that sad that the guy that wants it and who will show up, isn't it sad that he loses out to the other guy? I mean, it's one of those terrible things. You hear life isn't fair? Imagine being in Perry's shoes right now. You want to do something. You're actually a fighter. You're entertaining, interesting social media character yourself. You would deserve, but you see where deserve and fair don't come into this. But right there was where Jake needed to make very clear to the world, I'm in charge. I am going to call the secretary to cancel your tickets in 3 weeks. So don't bother. I'm going to cancel your father and whoever else your cornerman was. There will be no purse. Your trainers are going to know today all the time they put into you is for nothing because there's 10% of nothing coming their way. He should have made his stand right there. He should have brought Perry in. Should have showed that he was organized. Most fights, if you lose your main event, you've lost the event. Jake was organized. He was ready for it. And he had a massive opportunity to show the world, I am more organized, I am more prepared, and I am a decision maker. Should have showed him that he was the boss. And the fact that he didn't X him right there at the press conference leads to my original premise that I don't know how much MVP's doing here. I know that the Middle East would have a big hand or they wouldn't be hosted. I know, but do they have all of the hand? I mean, do they have all of the hand? Is there a reason why Jake couldn't make that announcement? Is there a reason he had to check with somebody? Fury didn't show to the fight. He didn't show to your first press conference. He didn't show to this press conference. Any logical person would say, well, then he's not going to show to the fight. That doesn't mean that he won't. It's a very illogical business, but a logical person would come to that conclusion. A logical person apparently wasn't at the press conference because this announcement wasn't made. And as of right now, Mike Perry is still on the sidelines.